So this time our tutorial 4 of lab 8 is going to be about inheritance يا بنات. And what is inheritance? Inheritance is what? When a subclass inherits from what? And we either call it a subclass or what? Super or child class. Inherits methods and parameters and data members from what? The super class. ماشي الحال. So here we have an example, very famous example about a class called what? Please pay attention. There are so many details here. What's the class name? And two data members, ID and what? ID and name. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a package. And let me create a package, call it model. And here I'm going to create a new class. And the class name is what? Person. Help me with two things, yalla. Private what? Integer ID and private string name. صح ولا لا? Right? And the question says, go and do setters and getters. So now we did this. Did I create a constructor here, ya banat? No. So if we don't create a constructor, which constructor is going to be used by default? The default constructor. So you need to pay attention to this piece of information. So we did this. We added what? Add setter and what? Now we need to create a child class. What is the name of the child class? Employee. Inherits what? And has one additional data member, which is number of children. Does that make sense? So now, how to do this? I'll create a class. What's the class name? Employee. And what is the new piece of information? Private integer. Let me call it kids. Tamam. But this class, ya banat, let me do setter and getter. What? Generate what? Setter and getter. And how to make it extend person? Extends what? Person. So now, and you see no errors, tamam? Which is good. Add setter getter according to the super class is what? Which one? Person, and the subclass is Mumtaz. In the model package, create a class called what? Test app with the main method. Tamam. ركزوا معنا new what? What should I do here? Class test app with the main method. Now, they want us to create what? An employee. صح? طيب, with the employee, did we create a constructor يا بنات? So the only way to do it is to use the default constructor, right? So here now, if I do employee, E1 equals new what? A new employee. Remember, employee is a person. Do you know this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Type. Now they want us to set what? ID, name. طب ID and name, where the employee is going to get them from? Person. صح ولا لا? طيب. Okay, so E1 dot set ID. What do you see after set ID? Do you see person? Means what? يعني this method is inherited from which class? Person. تمام. Set ID, whatever ID now here. E1 dot set what? Name. And again, set name is inherited from. Okay. However, set kids is from where? From the employee class. Does that make sense? ماشي الحال. So now we created an employee class and we inherited all the things that are available in which class? In the super class, and the super class was what? So here they remind you that set ID and set name are not actually in the employee. They were inherited from where? From person. Output the name and ID. Okay, that's fine. We can do it here. تمام. Just this out يعني. Okay. sys out. I'll just do one just to make sure everything. E1 dot get what name. خلاص يعني بس هيك راح نعمل نتأكد. ماشي الحال؟ طيب. Good. In the class employee, now pay attention يا بنات. There is some technicality here. Now, okay, add a constructor that receives what? يلا معانا بسرعة. بدون تركيز ما في code. We are not writing code these days. We are just designing. So you need to pay attention to these things, huh? Okay. So one parameter integer, which is what? Is going to be number of what? Children. So here أنا إذا بروح بقول له طبعا if you create a parameterized constructor, the default constructor disappears. You know that, صح ولا لا, right? And that's why we are getting this problem. And here I said, that's it. So now I have a constructor that what? طبعا which one is gonna create a problem? This one, صح? Because now what? No default constructors. If you want, you can create it like this, صح? And here, no need to do what? No need to do what? Set what? Set kids. تمام. So now, you will get an error. To solve this, هو بقول, he doesn't want me to solve it that way. He wants to keep it like this. طب كيف أحل المشكلة? Add what? Add a default constructor. تمام. Deselect all and add a default constructor. Now there is no error because you have what يا بنات? You have both constructors available to you. ماشي الحال. So okay, problem solved. Add a constructor now to where? يا بنات, remember this person is what now? Person is what? Superclass. صح ولا لا? طيب. The constructor is very important in the superclass. That receives what? Okay. Add output statement. تمام. هلا I will go to the which class? Here. So source, generate constructor using fields, all of them, صح? طيب. هلا here, they want me just to tell you that we are here. We are inside where? The person. إيش? Person constructor. Do you agree يا بنات؟ يعني every time you call this, we are doing it to show you what's happening. تمام؟ Okay. So now على طول واضح إنه صار في عنا somewhere في عنا إيش؟ We have an error. Automatic. Why? There was a change to the superclass constructor. Yes or no? طيب. Listen carefully to this. A subclass must call one of the superclass's constructors. Must call it. When both classes had no constructors, only the default constructor was there. صح ولا لا? And it was called automatically. And that's why there was no error. Now the superclass, do you have a default constructor? So in order to create a person, the only way to create a person is to call what? To call this constructor, صح? Now same thing here. They tell you you cannot create an employee. To create an employee, you must create a person. Do you know this? Because employee is a person plus other things. Yes or no? So now you cannot call it. So now let us see what is needed. You will get an error. To solve this, this is not the right solution. This is temporary. Add what? Add default constructor. This is not the best solution. This is just very, very what? Temporary what? Deselect all. And now, فعلى طول راح نلاقي, okay, this one will call the superclass and that's it. ماشي الحال. But this is not the right solution. تمام. Add a constructor to the class employee that receives what? Actually, يا بنات, to create an employee, what do we need? How many pieces of information? 3. 2 of them from where? صح ولا لا؟ ماشي؟ So هاي المضبوط صراحة. يعني هيك بدنا نبدأ من هون. So now I'll go to the employee. I'll just حتى إيش يعني I'll do it here. But see how to get help from Eclipse. Eclipse ليش ما أضافهم? Why Eclipse did not add those? Because it was using which constructor of the superclass? But now if you open this constructor needs ID and name. صح ولا لا يا بنات? This is the superclass. And the subclass needs kids, صح? So now person extends superclass, but which constructor is going to be used? So how many, now look at person يا بنات. What's this now? ID, name, and what? Kids, right? ID, name, and what? Kids. طيب, what is super ID name? Super. Calling what? Constructor of which class? A super class that takes integer and string. صح ولا لا? Which constructor takes an integer and string? This one, صح? بس خلاص. So now, when you create an employee, مين اللي بيتفوق يشغلوا الأجهزة؟ Okay? When you create an employee, يا بنات here, you will call the super class. This is a must. Even this call must be the first statement. لاحظوا? If you put it second, what's going to happen? So calling the superclass constructor must be what? The first element. تمام. طيب. So now what I did here. Can you access ID? Okay, now. Okay, and alternatively superclass. طبعا in the person ID and string are what? Private, صح? طيب the subclass, can they access private? Private زمان قلنا what? DC ID? طيب, but for this solution احنا زمان what we decided to do? We decided to make the setter and getter what? Public. And the data members themselves what? So now if you want to set the ID, you call which method? Set ID. If you want to get the ID, you call which method? But can you access them directly? Can you say this.id in the employee? No, because it's what? It's private. تمام. استنوا شوي هلا. I can go here and remove what? Private. So this is called default. So now it's available inside the package. Do you see the ID now? Do you see it? Because it's no longer what? It's no longer private. صح ولا لا? تمام. It's no longer private. إذا رجعتها private, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if I make it what? Error because private. Okay. طيب. Another solution to this is what? Is to make it protected, but we'll see it later. But now you know you cannot access the private data members of the superclass. You can only, it's better to access what? The setter and getter. That's why we started to make them what? Make them what? Public. While the data members are what? طيب. Now let me make an employee يا بنات. I'll use this constructor. معي لو سمحتوا. A new employee, ID is 100, name is Steve Jobs, and 3 kids. تمام؟ موافقين؟ هلا when you call the employee, you call which constructor? And this constructor is going to call which constructor? The super, and you will see this message, صح? Okay, بس هاي هي يعني. تمام. So let us just now, we are inside what? Do you get this now? صح ولا لا? So you know that you have called it, تمام. And it should be what يا بنات again? The first what? The first statement in the subclass, تمام. ماشي الحال. So you notice this, right? What's the output? طيب. Now ID and name of the superclass, they were what? Private, صح? طيب شوفوا معي. I'll make them what? I'll make them what? يلا. Okay, what is protected يعني? What is protected? هلا بتعرفوا. I'll create a new package. I'll call it that. ماشي. And here I'm going to create, please pay attention. If you understand this, خلاص يعني you understand the concept of access modifiers. هلا in which package يا بنات؟ طيب student inherits person, so I need to do some import, صح ولا لا, right? So what to do here? Import what? Model dot person, yes or no? طيب. And now student has new thing, so private what? Private double GBA موافقين, and private string major. Do you agree with this يا بنات? And source generate what? Setter and what? Setter and getter. صح ولا لا? يلا, let's make constructor. I have 2 in the student and 2 from the person. You know what's going to happen, yes or no? In order to help Eclipse, before I go to this, I say extend what? Extends what? But it depends. Okay, extends what? Person. تمام. ممتاز, huh? Okay, now I go to source what? Generate what? Constructor. Which one I need from the person? I need the one that takes what? ID and name. And for student, I provide GPA and what? Major, صح? So هيك صار عنا 4, right? And look at this now here. Look at it. The first time you call what here? The first time you call the superclass, the first moment, and then you set the subclass. ماشي الحال. And this is what? From person. I am in a different package يا بنات, صح ولا لا؟ طيب. خليكم معي كمان. I'll make 2 examples now. Class, okay, just test here. Import model dot person. ماشي؟ طيب. ركزوا معي بالله, pay attention here. Person P1 equals what? A new what? A new person. تمام. هاي ID وهاي name. بيمشي الحال معكم؟ طيب. Test. Is it a subclass of person? يلا, this is the question now. Test. Is it a subclass of person? لا. It uses person. طيب. P1 انتبهوا يلا هلا. P1. Can you see ID or name directly? You can access the public methods, but the protected, can you access them? So if you are out in another package, you cannot access the protected data members unless what? Unless you are a subclass of that. يعني هلا test, is it a subclass of person? No. But student is. Do you agree? Student is a subclass. If it's in the same package, it can see all protected things. If it's in another package, it cannot see any protected thing unless it is what? A sub. هلا يعني إذا بدكم هلا تشوفوا this dot ID. Student can see the ID, but test cannot see it. Yes or no? Why? Because it is a subclass. So now for protected access modifiers, it's available in the same package. However, in another package, it's only available if the other class is a subclass of that class. Does that make sense? Private is only available in the current class. ماشي الحال يا بنات. So now here I created what? A student. مظبوط. طيب نرجع نكمل هون. Let's continue this now here. To write to access directly, I believe I solved this now to you, huh? ماشي؟ طيب. Create a method, okay, in the person called what? To string. يلا معي. ارجعوا لي هون. ايش بقول هون? Do you want to connect? Yes. Okay. Here. What's the to string يا بنات? Which class I am in? بسرعة. Generate to string. I will do this. طبعا أنا I'll just make it simple here. Return what? ID and what? Comma. CSV they call it. Comma separated. تمام. Is this good? طب استنوا معي. This class is available where? So it means it's available to all its subclasses. صح ولا لا? طيب if I go to employee now here, if I go to a test app, if I print E1, the employee, does the employee have a toString? But who has? It's superclass. So if it's available in the nearest superclass, it will be used. Run. Where did we get this from now? The employee got it from where يا بنات? From person. حتى الستودنت. حتى الستودنت تمام. If you want me to test student here, okay, student S1 equal new student. تمام. Okay, 4 5 6. Okay, Hassan and GPA 3.3 and major ENG. حتى student is a subclass صح ولا لا؟ Of person, so it will what? S1, it will inherit it. Student inherited, and who also inherited it? Employee. ماشي الحال. طيب. Now we come to here. Okay, how to call. طيب يا بنات. Now for the employee, it doesn't print what? It doesn't print what? The number of kids, صح؟ يلا قولوا لي what to do. I want also the number of kids to be what? ايش اسمها هاي؟ Override the superclass method. But you don't have to cancel it all, by the way. طيب خليكي معي هون. انت اللي قلتي لي for employee. يعني I come here, I do all this. هيك بدك اعمل؟ ولا هان؟ طيب لو سمحتوا خليكم معي. هلا انا رحت على انتبهوا يلا موضوع مهم هاي. رحت على toString of which class. So ايش صار يضيف هون؟ صار يضيف ايش؟ ID وكيدز صح ولا لا؟ طبعا do something بس result is good صح؟ في output يا اخي يلا. Okay, this one, where we get it from now? Run. كمل. What is the thing that I'm doing wrong? يعني we don't have to duplicate the code صح ولا لا؟ So what do you suggest يا ستي؟ Soup class what? The string plus what? Plus bacha and number of kids, right? Take it to the super class. So now it's gonna work. So we are reusing the in the super, reusing the code in the super class. We are just extending it. شفتوا الكلمة اللي حكيتها ايش؟ يعني kids will be what? طيب. What? Dot what? Plus what? Major صح؟ مظبوط؟ major and a plus this dot what get what major. Did it work with you now? Do you see that how we overridden and now it's if it's a student what will be printed? major and the GPA. هو جهاز عندي يبدو بعمل ابديت شيء. شوف الفرق. فاعتبروا انتوا انه وصلكم شيء. هاي حسن وصل رجعت؟ تمام. هاي حسن شايفين شو اخذنا؟ الجي بي اي صح ولا لا؟ رايت؟ ولا ايش الميجر؟ يعني هذا اوفر رايد. مش لازم السب كلاس think of inheritance هي انا يعني human I will use the superclass method plus I will do what? I will add something. However, if you don't reuse the superclass, this is called complete override. But extend means reuse it and plus something. So now let us see what happens here. Output the details. Okay, I did this in the class. By the way, all of this I have done this. Class auto string protected instead of what? Public modify. Okay. طيب. Here employee. This is what? Public, صح? If I remove it, what's the error now? This is a method overridden from a superclass. What's the access modifier of this method in the superclass? Then the subclass cannot narrow it down. You know what I mean? يعني the subclass cannot what? Narrow it down. If it's public, cannot make it private or protected. It must use also what? The same access what? The same fire of what? Of the super class. So method the same visibility as what? As the super class. Okay, make ID private. Now هلا okay, I need to go to the person. I will set this what? The actual thing it should always be what? Private, صح? The set and getter what? Public. But okay. And now I'm showing you in two different packages also when I did protected. And this is our first example, which was about what? About high. Now the second example, you will do it. It's about a vehicle. What's vehicle يا بنات? Vehicle يعني عربة, right? أو شيء يعني you can be ridden or driven. يعني bicycle is a vehicle, صح? Motorcycle is a car is a vehicle. Truck is a vehicle, صح ولا لا? So what is the basic thing? All vehicles have wheels. Do you agree? All vehicles have what? Now your super class here is what? Vehicle. And from this you need to make what? A car. What's the new thing in the car? If it's a truck, what's truck شاحنات. شو الشيء المهم في الشاحنات؟ ما فيها باسنجرز. قدرتها الحمولة 40 طن 50 طن وعدد ايش تايرز. في اللي بتشوفوهم ميد سايز بيكون فيهم 8 tires, sometimes 12, sometimes 18 tires, and total load. So if it's a truck, okay, عندنا what is the new thing if it's a truck? Number of what? راح يكون لا truck weight وايش load capacity. تمام. يعني الويلز في السيارة is gonna be what? 4, right? And we can create bus, for example, and bus will be passengers. So now, from class vehicle, you need to create what, يا بنات? From class vehicle, you copy. So here is the vehicle example, يا بنات. This vehicle is going to be a super class. It has only the things that are available in all vehicles. which is wheels and weights. Here in the subclass, in the toString, يعني it's something, يعني so many things are exaggerated. So now I just don't want you to lose focus with this substring, just string manipulation. Now we need to create a class called what, يا بنات? Here, what's the class, the subclass? Car. What's the new thing in the car? What is it, يا بنات? Passengers. And I'm not going to copy it. I want you to help me do it. تمام. So here when I say new class and call the class car, تمام. And what's the new thing? Private what? Private integer what? Passengers. يعني كم راكب, صح؟ مظبوط. Okay. Now let me just do what? Set what? Setter and getter for what? For passengers. Now if I say what? Extends what? يلا. Extends what? Vehicle, صح؟ خلاص. Now extends vehicle معناته لازم لما أعمل constructor, what should happen? Generate constructor using which constructor I take from vehicle? The one that takes what? Number of wheels and what? And weight. So now, and the first line in the here, what's going to happen? The first line, what is it? Calling the super with the, and what's the new thing here? طيب يلا مرة واحدة نعمل نجيب toString what? What to do with the toString here? طيب override what? Public what? And I like to, okay, public string what? So this is gonna, now we need everything in the super class. So what to do? Return what? Return super dot toString plus passengers. نكتب صح؟ تمام هيك؟ Passengers and plus this dot what? Get what? Passengers. Do you agree, يا بنات? So now the only thing that we have what now here, and the class name is what? Car. Not the class name is not vehicle. I believe there is a test code, صح? So here I'll just take a vehicle test. I'll just copy paste it quickly here, and okay, this is it here in the same package. I'll paste it. So source format, and I remove the, I don't want the default. Now here معنا يا بنات. So what's the error with a new car? Can you tell me what's the error with a new car? Look at it, and I don't see error by the way. The constructor car integer ما مش موجود. ليش؟ أي عندنا integer صح ولا لا؟ تمام. إذا ممكن بس we need to save. تمام. لاحظوا الerror what? Disappear صح؟ So now يلا vehicle car wheels كم? Weight and what? I can go to car here and just make passengers in a new line if you want. Does that make sense, يا بنات? So now the passengers in a new line, and that's it. Good. لاحظوا here, what do you see? Car. Where do we get this from? Look at the super class. يا بنات. Class name equals get class, get simple name. This will give you the class name. تمام? If it's a subclass, it will give you the subclass name. Does that make sense? طيب يلا. I will go quickly. I will skip some of the simple things here. I will create a class called what? ركزوا معنا الآن. Last example. خلاص. Sorry. شو اللي عملته أنا؟ Okay. كيف نرجع الشاشة هاي؟ Show view project package explorer. تمام. نحن Tutorial-04, right? يا بنات. I'm gonna create a new class. والكلاس هاي نتخيلها شاحنة. What is it? Truck. طبعا اوكي. هلا truck اشياء مهمة في truck. ايش هي؟ اللود. So let us say private هو double بس خلينا نحطه. انا I prefer انه اقول double. What? load. قديش الماكسيمم load. اذا انتبهتوا او ما بتنتبهوا انتم مرات تشوفوا على الشاحنات مكتوب الحمل الاقصى maximum load. يعني واذا بتنتبهوا في ايش كمان؟ في مرات جاءوا محطات الوزن. تمام. هلا احنا ايوه نعم عندنا امتحان. ادخلي هلا انت إيه اللي بدك اعملي؟ ايش بدك؟ لا مش فاضيين، عندنا امتحان ولا جهاز فاضي. هلا حياك. تمام. اوكي. So now load. So what I want now? Source what? Generate what? الكونستراكتور صح؟ راح اجيب ايش نسينا؟ نقول له ايش؟ ركزوا مع اخر خطوتين هاي. extends what؟ extends ايش؟ vehicle. تمام. وما له passengers. تمام. خلاص هلا اذا قلنا له what source generate what constructor using field راح نجيب اي constructor بالفيكل. تمام. ماشي الحال؟ خليكم معنا. طبعا هلا فاهمين احنا راح نجيب وات يعني راح نعمل اوفر رايد. هاي بسيطه، هاي راح نعدلها اكثر من هيك. بس مش باسنجرز هون. ايش بدنا؟ max what max load and we will say what this what get load. موافقين يا بنات؟ صح؟ طيب هاي واحد. اثنين بده منا بعض الاشياء الاضافيه. بده نعم بده منا كم just give me 3 minutes give me 3 minutes. بده منا what to know how much the load on each tire. You know how much the load on each tire. مش في شاحنات بتشوفوها 8 tires فالtotal load on the number of tires is the load per what per one tire. So now here there is a method he wants us to do. Public double معنا get what weight per wheel الحمل على. So what is get weight before return what؟ يلا قولوا لي. هو بقول لنا انه وزن الشاحنه واللود تبعها وزن السياره نفسها والحمل اللي محملينه على عدد التايرز. تمام. So this dot what get weight plus this dot what get what load all of it على كم؟ على what this dot get wheels. صح؟ حسب عددها. ماشي. وهلا ممكن احنا we can go now and say here plus what wheel load equal this dot what get weight per wheel. Does that make sense يا بنات؟ شو الغلط هون؟ semicolon, right? تمام. So now what we're gonna get for a truck is this. أنا ضفتها to string. So now what should I do؟ يلا قولوا لي بسرعة. truck v is equal to what new truck what ايش اول شيء بده ايش؟ number of wheels 18 الويت 20,000 اللود 40,000 40,000. تمام. هاي اوكي. يلا خلينا نطبعها سيس اوت نشوف شو بيعطينا. في صح سميناها good. يلا let's see this. truck wheels 18 maximum load and wheel load is this much. Does that make sense يا بنات؟ So do you see how we can extend things from superclass to what? To subclass. Maybe there is a one method or simple method, but this is fine. But you see that subclasses can reuse things in superclasses. They can extend them and they can override them if they don't like this. ماشي الحال؟ طيب. Okay. I will stop recording. This is the tutorial for this time.